Open that. She fit in here. She's in there.
It all started as a simple missing persons report from John Ray, Patricia's grandson. Police were called to Carol Ray's house on January 22nd after her mother, Patricia, couldn't be found.
Police department! Police department! Hi, how's it going? Yeah. Are you Patricia? No, we're daughter.
In the garage, officers pried open a plastic storage bin. The stench was overwhelming. Inside, tangled in blood-soaked towels, lay Patricia's decomposing body, a grim discovery that shattered any illusions of an innocent disappearance. What exactly happened? Let's investigate today's episode. Make sure to subscribe for more shocking true crime stories. You won't want to miss what's coming next. 69-year-old Patricia Bennett, Carol's mother, and was no stranger to struggle. She had battled health issues for years: pneumonia, COPD, and even suffered strokes. Her health had left her vulnerable, but she still fought to remain involved in her family's life. Living with her daughter Carol and her young granddaughter, Patricia tried to stay strong despite her ongoing medical battles. Her family life was far from peaceful. Tensions ran high, particularly over money. Patricia had grown frustrated with her grandson John, who repeatedly borrowed money but never paid it back. She had become cautious, even distant, when it came to handling her finances. One day, Patricia disappeared mysteriously, and her grandson John Ray has no way but reporting her missing to the police.
Okay. Does she live here with you? Yeah, we live together. Your grandma? Yeah. Or your mom? Sorry. Yeah, she's been staying over at her sister's house for a couple of days.
Initially, Carol claimed that her mother was at her sister's house, but when police checked this claim, they found that Patricia's sister had not seen her in years, raising more doubts about Carol's version of events. The officers, now suspicious, began focusing on Carol's interactions with family members, particularly her son John, who had raised concerns about his grandmother's disappearance.
My grandma just texted me again.
Okay.
No cops to my house again. My grandma's not at the house.
John had mentioned that Carol was not answering calls and she had been lying about Patricia's place. The police continued to track down any evidence or witnesses that could help explain Patricia's disappearance. One of the most significant actions taken by officers was contacting Patricia's doctor's office.
Hi, this is Casey from Woods Cardiology. How can I help you?
Hi, this is Officer Pelt with the Roseville Police Department. I'm just calling because I believe you have a patient in your office by the name of Patricia Bennett. And she has some family members that are concerned about her and are trying to just make sure she's there.
Nope. She's not here. Actually, they might have got the date mixed up. Her appointment is, February the 13th. I'm gonna go ahead and ask a couple of my colleagues just to make sure, like, did she come here?
Right.
Or anything like
Is she
that.
planning on coming there?
Nope. She's not supposed to be here today. Nobody's, she hasn't come in yet or anything like that, but we can watch out and contact you.
When they were told that Patricia's appointment had been scheduled for a later date, it became clear that Carol had lied about where her mother was. Police spoke with other family members, including Carol's ex-boyfriend, TJ, to investigate more on Carol.
I mean, so she's always been a chronic liar.
He described Carol's tendency to lie, and especially when off her medication. TJ's insights were critical in shaping the investigation, as they helped officers understand Carol's behavior and the possibility that she had been hiding something for weeks. After gaining more details from the family, police continued to seek formal permission from Carol's boyfriend, Ricky, to search the house. Ricky confirmed that he had not seen Patricia in a month and had no idea where she was.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Help himself.
Not too bad, are you, Ricky?
Yeah.
Okay. Gonna step back. Here's some of these detectives want to talk with you.
Detectives?
Yeah. What's going on? Oh, they'll talk with you.
When was the last time you saw Patricia? Like, physically saw her in person?
Physically saw her. It's probably been about a month.
Would you mind coming to the station with us? So we can just sit there and talk?
It's just about...
Well, we want to find Patricia, but we're getting...
She's not at her sister's house?
No.
With Ricky's consent, police were able to examine the house thoroughly, starting with the backyard and vehicles. However, after searching these areas and finding nothing of significance, the officers knew they had to focus on the garage, the last unexplored part of the house. It was there, in a large storage bin, that they found the critical evidence. As one officer opened the container, the overwhelming stench of decay hit him immediately. Inside, they discovered bloody towels, and as they dug deeper, they found Patricia's body. The condition of the body made it clear that Patricia had been dead for weeks, hidden away, while Carol maintained her lies. The discovery of her remains was the turning point in the case. It was no longer a missing persons investigation. It was a murder investigation, and Carol was at the center of it. As the investigation continued, the focus turned to the two main individuals connected to Patricia's disappearance: her daughter Carol and her boyfriend Ricky. Each had their own role in the case, and their involvement was carefully examined. Carol Ray was the first and most obvious suspect. She was the last person to have seen Patricia, and her behavior raised numerous red flags. From the beginning, Carol's statements about her mother's whereabouts didn't add up. Carol also lied about Patricia's doctor's appointment, which was revealed to be scheduled for a later date. As the investigation deepened, Carol's lies became more apparent. She continued to cover for Patricia's absence, even going so far as to fabricate stories about her health and whereabouts. Despite the mounting evidence against her, Carol remained adamant that she had nothing to do with her mother's disappearance. However, Carol's desperate attempts to cover up the crime had failed, and the police had the evidence they needed to charge her. The body's fresh condition, coupled with the bloody scene, suggested that Patricia's death was neither accidental nor a result of natural causes. It was the evidence they had been waiting for, proof that Carol had killed her mother and tried to hide the crime. With the discovery, the investigation shifted from suspicion to certainty, and Carol was arrested, marking the beginning of the end for her long-running deception. Ricky, Carol's boyfriend, initially emerged as a potential accomplice. He had been living in the house with Carol. However, his statements seemed less suspicious. When questioned by police, Ricky expressed genuine concern about Patricia's disappearance, stating that he hadn't seen her in over a month and was unaware of her whereabouts.
Do you have any idea what's going on? No, I don't. You have no clue. Tell us everything you know so you don't implicate yourself anymore than yesterday. Because here's the thing, Ricky. There's investigative tools we have. We're going to find out exactly when she died, where you were when she died, which I'm betting you were in that house, and you know exactly what happened. No, I don't. I'm not Patty.
His demeanor and answers, though nervous, suggested he wasn't involved in the murder.
I'm saying, you know something. I don't know anything. I swear.
Although he lived in the house during the time Patricia's body was hidden, Ricky was ultimately cleared of any involvement in the crime. Even though Ricky wasn't charged, some people still wondered how much he really knew. Think about it. He was living in the same house where a body was rotting in the garage. How did he not notice the smell? How did he not question where Patricia had gone? Police grilled him about this. Ricky claimed he just thought Patricia had moved out. But the officers weren't fully convinced. They checked his phone records, bank records, and even gave him a polygraph test. In the end, Ricky's story held up. Maybe he was clueless. Maybe Carol was just that good at lying. Either way, police couldn't find anything solid to charge him with. Together, Carol and Ricky formed the core of the investigation, with Carol clearly positioned as the primary suspect. The more detectives learned about Carol's lies and actions, the clearer it became that she had orchestrated the crime alone. Ricky, on the other hand, was ruled out as an accomplice, and the focus remained squarely on Carol, whose desperate efforts to cover up the murder only solidified her role in Patricia's tragic death. Carol Ray's background paints a picture of someone with a troubled past, marked by lies and financial struggles. Carol had a history of manipulating situations, particularly when it came to money. She had borrowed money from her mother, Patricia, and had been unable to repay it. Carol was the one handling the family's money, including Patricia's assets, and that caused a lot of tension. Her son, John, wasn't happy about it. He didn't trust the way she was managing things. Over time, he got more and more worried about his grandmother, especially since Carol wouldn't let him talk to her. Carol's troubled relationships weren't just limited to financial issues. Her ex-husband, TJ, shed light on her behavior, describing her as a chronic liar, particularly when she was off her medication. He explained that Carol's erratic behavior was often linked to her not following her prescribed treatment. This painted a picture of a person who could be unpredictable and prone to making poor decisions when under stress or when trying to maintain control over her circumstances. The investigators were clear that Carol's actions were driven by financial gain. There was constant evidence of money issues, such as Carol taking back a car from her son because he hadn't paid for the insurance, and the ongoing disputes about loans Patricia had made. Carol had been hiding her mother's death, possibly because she believed Patricia's assets, especially her Social Security or any inheritance, would be hers to control without interference from other family members. Investigators noted that Carol had lied about Patricia's whereabouts multiple times, and these actions seemed to be driven by a desire to cover up the murder and continue living off Patricia's financial resources. Long story short, Carol's background of financial manipulation, her strained relationships with family members, and her pattern of deceit all point to financial gain as the likely motive for the murder. The investigators believed that Carol killed her mother to remove any obstacles to her control over Patricia's assets, and her attempts to cover up the crime showed how far she was willing to go to maintain that control. With a clear motive in sight, investigators turned to Carol's version of events, trying to piece together what really happened that night. Carol claimed it all started late one evening while she was home with her daughter. She said she was asleep when a loud crash startled her. She thought someone was breaking in. Panicked, she grabbed a gun to protect herself. As she was walking down the hallway, her legs were shaken so hard that she tripped. The gun accidentally fired, hitting her mother, Patricia. Carol claimed she rushed to Patricia, shaking her, hoping she was still alive. When there was no response, Carol insisted she tried to help. But as detectives dug deeper, her story began to fall apart. Carol never mentioned the 2 deep knife wounds found on Patricia's body. A gun going off by accident? Maybe. But stab wounds? That told a much darker story.
Where did you go? Where did you go from the house to where first arrived? Okay, so this is where I'm concerned with your mom, and I know this is a hard detail to get through, but picking up your mom, there's no way you're picking up. How did you do that by yourself? You're saying Ricky did that. Did Ricky come over and help? Did you have him help you move?
Carol insisted she acted alone, but that raised a big question. How? Moving Patricia's body by herself seemed almost impossible, given her mother's condition. The body was still fresh, and the blood-soaked towels suggested a deliberate attempt to hide the crime. Still, despite the suspicions, there was no solid proof that anyone else was involved. Everything pointed back to Carol and Carol only. Carol Ray was arrested for first-degree murder, illegal use of a firearm, and stealing over $20,000. When she was arrested, her neighbor's shooter was looking through the window. He said, "I have lived here my whole life. And to think something that crazy could happen 100 yards from where I sleep? It is weird. I get creeped out now when I come home at night. I work nights, so I come home at 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning, and I get a weird feeling whenever I look at that house now. It is a quiet little neighborhood. Nothing crazy happens. It is hard to believe." Carol Ray's case quickly went to trial, and from the start, things weren't looking good for her. The prosecution didn't just prove she was guilty, they showed just how much thought went into this crime.
The defendant shot the victim one time in the back of the head in early November and concealed her body in a plastic tote storage bin.
They had it all. Patricia's hidden body, Carol's endless lies, and proof that she had been using her mother's money even after she was dead. Family members testified that Carol had been acting strangely, and time after time, she was caught lying to the police. When the verdict came, it hit hard. Carol was found guilty on all charges and sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole. As for Ricky, there wasn't enough evidence to tie him to the crime, so he walked free. At the end of the day, this case isn't just about crime. It's about betrayal. Patricia was a mother, a grandmother, a woman who had spent her life caring for her family. And in return, her own daughter took everything from her. Money can make people do terrible things, but no amount of money can replace a life. What do you think? Did Carol's sentence fit the crime? Or did she deserve something even worse? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.